Welcome to a Math Warehouse video on proving triangles congruent. Today we're going to go over the last of main ways to prove triangles congruent with the hypotenuse leg theorem. So the hypotenuse leg theorem states that if you have two triangles that are right triangles and you know that the hypotenuses are congruent, such as the purple sides in this diagram, and one pair of legs is congruent, like the red sides, that both triangles must be congruent. And if you think about the Pythagorean theorem, this should make sense. We all know a squared plus b squared is c squared, and we're basically saying that if we have a triangle, let's think about the 5, 12, 13 triangle, right? If you have a triangle and it's got a leg of 5 and a hypotenuse of 13, and there's a different triangle that has a leg of 5 a hypotenuse of 13, the missing leg must be 12 by solving for some stuff on the Pythagorean theorem. So those two triangles have to be the same. It's a very simple theorem to use to prove triangles are congruent. You simply have to establish that you have right triangles. So if you're given that ACB and ZYX are 90 degrees, you can state that you have right triangles, and then from there you can say, hey, I have a pair of legs that are congruent, I have a pair of hypotenuse that are congruent. The entire thing is congruent by hypotenuse leg. And let's go over one more example. Let's look at this here. All this is on Math Warehouse. You can do lots of practice on there, but let's say we've got this large outer triangle ACB with a AD being perpendicular given to CB, and that CA is equal in measure to AB. I know I technically should change the notation there a little bit, but CA is congruent to AB or equal to AB. Why? Given, right? We have a hypotenuse now that is congruent. That's what we can now say so far. And now this is the part that's a little different about hypotenuse leg. We now need to establish that we have two right triangles. And since AD is perpendicular to CB, we can state that angle D is a right angle in both sides. Perpendicular lines create 90-degree angles, going back to the given. And now here's what you have to usually say. Most teachers want you to establish that we have right triangles. Well, what's a right triangle? It contains a right angle. In the prior step, we showed the two angles are right angles. So now we have a hypotenuse that's congruent. We have right triangles, and now the third thing we need is a leg. If you look at this, maybe you see that AD is in both triangles, so we can use reflexive to get a leg. So we have leg, hypotenuse, establish right triangles, so we can say they're congruent by the hypotenuse leg theorem.